It's TI Scott again, and this is the third video in the Java playlist. So I'm going to go over quickly a couple more data types to begin with. The first one will be one that is quite useful in terms of setting flags. Computer programming has a lot to do with discrete math and Boolean logic. So if this, then that. And there are going to be many times where you're going to have to set something to true or false. Easily, which would either stand as a flag or some sort of trigger to enter into some sort of conditional statement if needed. But the first one is the Boolean variable. We'll just quickly show this as bool. So for this, like a Boolean variable is either it's true or it's false. Like that's all it has. So it's quite simple to um, uh, basically understand why this will be needed. So we can set it to true, uh, system.out.println, bool, and then we can also set it to false. So both of these will basically just show that the Boolean is true and false. I'll just do something to show you why it might be useful. We'll cover if statements later, but if bool this will just give you an idea as to why these statements could be useful, or these variable types. So we will quickly just run that. So what this shows is that it's only showing the true. So we have two print line statements, but it's actually only showing the true. So we're setting the statement to true. It's coming into this if statement. So if bool equals true, then we are going to carry on with this block of code. And this block of code prints it out. If bool is false, then it's not going to enter this block of code and execute. But if we took away this print line statement, then we'll see that, sorry, that if statement, then we'll see that it ends up printing both of them down here. So that's just one thing that is useful in programming. For simplicity's sake and to save some time, I'll actually get into the next one and use this. So we have another data type called char, and it's basically one character, like a letter. So we're going to set char to letter, and then under this we'll do letter equals a. Sorry, you're going to have to use single quotations for a character. And once we have that, we can, if true, system.out.println letter. So we are going to run that. And as you see, just another variable type printed out. Simple. We have Boolean true inside this. So another way you could, we'll cover that in conditional statements, but for this, it's just characters and Boolean logic. The last one I did want to show you is there is a class that's in the Java library that's called math, And this could be useful if you're needing to calculate like exponents or uh, square roots. Basically, uh, they are math operations that, sorry, my brain's kind of going to mush right now. They're math operations that you normally would use in operations and calculators and stuff like that. Another thing to outline too is that when you're doing operations in Java, it's the simple bed maths order of operations. So multiplication, division, like all that sort of stuff comes before addition, subtraction. So let me show you the math class. So we have, let's do double equals num. Here we can just show that num equals math dot pow. So this is getting a exponent. So we'll have, say, 2.0 to the 4. So this should equal 16. And why is that coming up? Oh shit, no wonder. I had that equal sign. Um, math.pow, and then let's, once that actually executed, it'll equal 16, and then we can get the square root. So let's system dot out dot println num, and then num equals math dot square root, and num. So it's just going to revert back to its original, which was, sorry, not its original, but it'll be 4. So let's give this a shot. So again, we'll run through it together. We set our variables, Boolean, a letter, a character, and a double. Boolean set to true, letter set to A. If true, because this is true, it'll print out the Boolean value, which is true. It'll print out the letter, which is A. And then it comes out of this if statement. Boolean equals false, prints false. Now we have num equals math.pow, so you can look at this as 2 to the 4, which equals 16. It prints out 16 down here. And then we're using that same num. It's going num equals math.square-root.num. So it's basically, we're using this as a data placeholder, and then it's using math.square-root. It's square rooting 16 and then it's printing it out, and the square root of 16 is 4. So that is how you use those that math class, as well as using these data types. I hope I wasn't too all over the place in this video, but again, I must stress that this isn't necessarily meant for teaching people to learn Java from start to finish with all of the nitty gritty in between. There are plenty of other videos on YouTube for that, and probably a lot better teachers than I am. I'm just using this as kind of a quick reference point. So later down the road, if me or maybe coworkers need to quickly refresh on a certain topic, then they can refer back to these videos, and it'll quickly just show them how it's used in practice. But if you are watching this video to learn and it's helping you out in any ways, thank you for watching, and I hope that it's more help than I think it'll actually be. But again, I appreciate your views, and wish you the best in your programming education. Thanks a lot.